So what happens when a viral challenge goes way too far? Today, we're diving into this experiment that started with a simple, kind of ridiculous question, but man, it ended up finding a much more dangerous answer. And it all started with this question. It's the kind of thing you debate with your friends late at night, right? But this wasn't just talk. Nope, they actually set up an experiment to find a real number, putting one of the greatest athletes on the planet against, well, pretty much everyone. The whole setup felt like something out of a legend, one single elite athlete against this unstoppable wave of people. And yeah, they called it the impossible question for a reason. So the setup was super simple. You've got Cristiano Ronaldo on one side. He's basically the definition of peak athletic power. And on the other side, just raw, overwhelming numbers. The whole point was to find out, where's the breaking point? All right, so the challenge kicks off. And the energy at the start, it's just pure confidence. Ronaldo's ready, the crowd is absolutely hyped, and everybody is thinking, okay, we're about to see something incredible here. And this right here, this wasn't just him accepting a challenge. This was a taunt. It was a direct message from Ronaldo himself, saying he was ready for whatever they threw at him. The stage was totally set for this epic physical showdown. But here's the thing. Just when everyone was locked in on this physical battle, the whole vibe just shifted. Something new entered the picture, and it turned this from a simple test of strength into something way more personal. So you've got to understand, there were really two battles happening at the same time. You had the official one, right? The physical contest, Ronaldo versus the crowd. But then, a whole other psychological battle was about to kick off, and it had everything to do with his legendary rivalry with Messi. And there it is. That one sentence, just thrown into all the chaos. Suddenly, it wasn't about the physical challenge anymore. This was a direct shot. It was meant to get under his skin, bringing up the one other player on the planet who's always seen as his rival. All of a sudden, the stakes were personal. But then, just like that, all the taunts, all the rivalry stuff, it just stopped. The fun was completely over. The whole tone went from being a game to something really serious. You could literally feel it. One second, it's this high-energy thing full of trash talk and confidence. The very next, boom, a sudden, heavy silence. That theoretical risk they were playing with, it was about to get very, very real. And this was the exact moment it all changed. Just 2 words. And this wasn't him losing the game. This was a real, genuine expression of pain. That whole abstract idea of stopping Ronaldo just became a very real, very physical thing. So, what was the answer to that big, impossible question? Well, it wasn't a number. After all that buildup, all that hype, the entire experiment boiled down to one simple, undeniable truth: real physical pain. And that forced everyone to take a step back, immediately. The original question they were trying to answer, suddenly, it didn't matter at all. A much more important question just jumped to the front of the line. And this is where the people running this thing had a really tough choice to make. You've got the goal, entertainment, on one hand, and it's suddenly clashing with their responsibility for safety. The party was over. A serious call had to be made, and it had to be made fast. So you can just imagine the rapid-fire risk assessment that kicked in. First, okay, someone is actually hurt. That immediately leads to step 2. You have to figure out the risk here. If one person's already in pain, a much worse injury, like a broken bone, that's not just a possibility anymore. It's actually pretty likely. And that right there forces the only responsible decision. And this was the final call. A clear, no-nonsense statement that put safety way ahead of the show. It was basically them saying, okay, we found the line. Not by winning the challenge, but by getting dangerously close to crossing it. So in the end, we never actually got the number. The experiment kind of failed to answer its own question. But you know what? It succeeded in teaching a way more important lesson. When you're pushing the limits for views or entertainment, the most important thing is knowing when to pull the plug before someone gets seriously hurt. And that really leaves us all with a bigger question to chew on, doesn't it? This whole thing gave us one answer. But as content online just keeps getting more and more extreme, it's a question every creator, and really every one of us watching, has to think about. Where exactly is that line?